the launch of GAC, the brand, and the product. Really good to be back with you guys and be amongst friends. I think, from my point of view at least, really good to be here and spend the day with you. Quick update on the agenda. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction about GAC brand and the group that imports the brand. Then Brian will give you obviously an overview of the product and the brand as well. And then got some time for questions and the actual drive. Likely we'll do the driver briefing and then off you go. So let's get straight into it. I think let me just lay a bit of a foundation and give you some context about who we are. So the name may sound strange to you, and you probably wonder what Salvador Caetano is all about, because you're here to launch the product, which is EMZOOM, which is part of GAC brand. But Salvador Caetano Group is the group that has won the distribution rights to import and distribute GAC brand in South Africa. So we are an importer distributor, and I wanted to give you just a very quick overview about the company, and obviously you're happy to take some questions a bit later on if you have more questions. So we're an automotive group, predominantly an automotive group, but we have other companies as well. So we have a manufacturing plant in Portugal. We're a Portuguese company, head office and foundations in Portugal. Was founded in 1946, and so we have a production plant in Portugal. We build Toyota products. In fact, Land Cruiser 70 series that we sell here comes from our plant in Portugal. We have Caetano Automotive, which again is the importer distributor part of our business. We have Caetano Aeronautics. We build manufacture components for Airbus and for Boeing, the ones that work well. We have a car rental business. We have what you don't see here. We have a ride-sharing business, mobility solution business as well. And Caetano Bus is actually how the company was founded in 1946. It was a bus manufacturing business. We still today manufacture buses. In fact, we have an 80% market share in worldwide airports. So the buses that you transit in airports are built in our plants in Portugal and the UK. You have seen the buses called Cobus. It's the ones you ride in the airports. And we also built luxury buses. And that was really the foundation of the group. We're also a software company for the auto industry. We develop software systems for auto. And we sell them mainly in Europe. We sell them in the market to other groups and retailers to use. So that's a quick overview about the company. We have many other businesses which are vertically integrated into the automotive space. But I thought I'd just give you a quick overview, high level of these ones. Then if we look at some numbers, so we're now actually getting close to 8,500 employees in the group. We're present in 43 countries across the globe, 3 continents, 43 countries. We represent, now with the addition of GAC, over 35 brands in all of the different countries that we're present in. So I mean, we have almost every brand that you can think of in the 3 continents that we are in. Because we're a retailer, we have 240 dealerships of our own that we distribute through. And the Caetano Group is the #1 retail group in the Iberian Peninsula. So we're #1 in Spain and Portugal, the biggest retail group distributing or retailing all of the brands that we have. In terms of turnover, massive company. You can see last year's turnover was 70 billion rand. So quite a robust company. We sold almost 150,000 cars last year. And I think I'm telling you this firstly to give you context about who was responsible for bringing the GAC brand to South Africa, and also to give you some context about the sustainability and the solidity of the group. This group was founded in 1946, present across the globe, and we're quite ambitious about our presence in South Africa, starting with the GAC brand. So happy to give you some more information, while we chat over lunch. But I think what I'll do now is move on to GAC brand. Give you an overview of the brand before Brian takes you through the product. But I think before I do that, let me play you a quick video so you can get a little bit of context about the brand.
constructing an overseas business community. GAC R&D Center acts as the technology management department and R&D system hub of GAC Group, undertakes the responsibilities of independent planning, management, and development of technologies and products, and has set up a global R&D network which brings together leading suppliers and R&D institutions across the globe. GAC Iron, focusing on NEV and ICV development. By virtue of 4 world-leading technologies, aims at building a world-class new energy factory. As the main undertaker of GAC Group's overseas business, GAC International Company Limited, together with its branches and affiliates across the globe, has established itself as an indispensable power to help GAC Group to carry out its global business. GAC Motor has extended its business to multiple regions, including the Middle East, America, Asia, Africa, and Europe. Based on the user needs at home and abroad, with expanding CDU export, GAC Motor also explores other innovative ways like KT, OEM, joint factories, mobility services, shared mobility, used and commercial vehicle exports to enter overseas markets. In 2021, the global communications slogan, Go and Change, was launched, with craftsmanship, quality, durability, reliability, innovation, connection as the brand core values. GAC Motor strives to build a trustworthy brand image. In 2021, during the Dubai Expo, GAC Motor has made it to the world's highest building, Burj Khalifa, to showcase to the world the new height of China's car-making techniques. In 2022, during the FIFA World Cup, was the theme of Now is All. GAC Motor unveiled itself on the Torch Dura, encouraging everyone to own the moment and go and change now, in line with the branding strategies by participating in global and regional auto shows, exploring sports, tech, fashion, art, and charity marketing, and organizing a wide range of innovative communication campaigns. GAC Motor has increased its brand exposure, brand favorability, and loyalty prominently. Through its persistent efforts, GAC Motor has earned recognition from overseas car owners, specialized media, and authoritative organizations. In the future, GAC Motor will continuously practice the spirit of Chinese craftsmanship, endeavor excellent quality and creativity, create high mobility value for consumers, and become a trustworthy mid to high-end Chinese auto brand. Go and change.
GAC Motor.
I think that gives you a nice overview about what the brand is about, and I'll give you a few more points, but I forgot to introduce the team when I first started, so let me do that quickly. Brian Smith, Marketing Director, was no stranger to all of you. Karabel, can you wait for Karabel is the head of product, responsible for product for GAC. Bianca, responsible for marketing, and Nash is our after sales director. So we've got the full team. If you have any questions related to brand, product, after sales, happy to chat about that. Let me get going with the next couple of points I want to make. So this is about now the GAC brand. It was incorporated in 1997. Last year we sold around 2.5 million units. We're targeting over 3 million this year, and I think we're well on the way to achieve that. We're the 5th largest automotive retailer in China last year. So we're amongst the top 5. We are a state-owned brand, like you know most of the top Chinese brands are. So it's a brand really that has good prospects for sustainability, for volume growth, for internationalization strategy. It's really one of the Chinese brands that are robust. I think a couple of years ago there were around 100 Chinese brands. I think now they're down to about 50, and we're amongst the top 5 in China, owned by the Chinese state. We're now present, we opened a couple of markets this year, so over 40 countries globally, and we'll show you a quick, you've seen it I think in the video representation of some of the countries that we're in. In terms of the R&D of the brand, so we have 10,000 patents. The brand value is quite significant. We are 165th on the Fortune 500. And just to give you some context, we are ahead of brands like American Express, Boeing, and if you check the list, you'll find lots of other brands that you recognize. So a brand that has really high value. We have 3 production facilities in China. We have 6 R&D centers, 2 of them in the US. Obviously researching the latest and greatest technology we can use in our vehicles. And quite proud to say that we are number 1 in production quality in all of our plants for 8 years running. So in the JD Powers survey. We have strong JVs with the GAC, Toyota, Honda, and Mitsubishi. We actually produce those products in China for those brands, so those products come out of our plants in China for the Chinese market. So our production quality is really top class now 8 years running. So a little bit about the actual design of the vehicle, and Brian will touch a bit more about it, but the important thing to remember about this product or the brand is that it was designed from the ground up. It's not a combination of other parts that we could find and then put a vehicle together. This car was designed, its gearbox, its engine, its chassis, it's really a ground up design. It's a completely new product, fresh design, and it's just won last year the #1 product again in terms of quality in China. You'll recognize some of the components for those of you that are technical, that are used in the vehicle, so really top class, world-class products, components used in the manufacture of the vehicle. And I think you'll get to see when you drive it, the evidence of the fact that this is a properly designed car from the ground up, not a combination of components from previous products or other brands. So just a quick update on our dealer network. So we're well represented already at the start. The biggest market areas, as you know, Gauteng, KZN, Western Cape. You can see that makes up close to probably 70% of the market. So we have dealers in all of those areas, and then we also have dealers in Mpumalanga, Northwest, Free State. By the end of the year, in fact, in the next couple of weeks, we will have hit the 20 mark, so we'll have about 20 dealers to start of sales and launch of the product. We'll probably cap it at around 40 sometime next year. We don't think we need to have more than that because the sustainable dealer network is important for me. It's important for my dealers to be profitable so they can reinvest in the people to deliver the quality of service that we need for the brand. So that's the dealer network, and we've chosen really strong dealer partners in the different areas to represent our brand. So I think that's just a quick overview or introduction about the group, the brand. Brian will take you through the product, and of course happy to chat and take questions at the end. Thank you.
Morning, everybody. Let me take this opportunity to, as always, thank you for your time and your attendance. It's great to see some of you again, great to catch up. Lovely to have you here. I appreciate the time that it takes. We have, we think, a great car for you to enjoy the day with. We've planned a relatively relaxed day in terms of timing, so there aren't too many time constraints. We're back here for lunch this afternoon, and we have no afternoon drive, so you have some opportunities, not just this afternoon, but on the drive as well, just to stop, take some pictures, create some content if you desire. Of course, we're here today talking about the GS3 EMZOOM. I want to take advantage though of the opportunity and just give you some sense of where we place the car in the market. I'm sure that a lot of you are very familiar with a bunch of these slides. I'll give you the context and where we see our car. I want to start with the market. You're very familiar with the slide. You're familiar with the market history over the last 10 years. Represented on the slide in the blue, of course, is passenger cars. In the lighter sort of yellow is the LCV, and the top number is the total PC and LCV over the last 10 years. 2024 is our projection, my projection if you will. I've taken it from month to date, or year to date June. Second half of the year is traditionally about 8% better than the first half of the year. Taking into consideration that July was a better month than July 2023, and so about 8% better plus 1% better for July. I've added an extra percent because I'm quite bullish about the second half of the year. I think we're anticipating a slightly better market, slightly more attractive interest rates, and of course we're introducing two great cars. So I expect the market to grow a little bit. 485 is my prediction. Lots of pictures taken yesterday. I'm sure they'll be used to beat me in January. Over that 10-year period, I want to also give you a progression in terms of vehicle silhouette. Vehicle silhouettes represented on the screen for the total market. The numbers you don't see is coupe cab. This is just passenger car, of course. Coupe cab, which is less than 1%. The other four hatch, MPV, sedan, and of course SUV. Primarily dominating the market SUV, the red line, you can see that growth, 53% of the vehicles sold year to date this year and over 50% last year as well. In the SUV, traditional SUV silhouette. Sedan on a relative downturn, hatch stabilizing at about a third of the market. And MPV showing some slow but steady growth, also though 6%. So SUV, and again I think unsurprising for most of us, clearly the dominant silhouette, clearly the option of choice for most of our consumers. Drilling a little bit further into that segment, the SUV segment, this is C SUV segment, so this is your vehicles traditionally between 4.2 and 4.6 meters in length as a C SUV. This is C SUV volume represented by the bars, and C SUV share of total passenger cars represented by the line and the percentage. So we know that SUV is growing, but we can see the penetration of C SUV in particular, almost 20%, 18.9% of total passenger car sales. We're almost just shy of 1 in 5 passenger cars sold is a C SUV in this category, in that silhouette. So a really popular segment, continues to grow. You see the growth over the last 10 years. Looking a little further into C SUV, drilling down particularly into C SUV, so that 18.9% of the passenger car market. On the left-hand side is the energy source of choice. Petrol at 75%, still relatively dominant, about 3/4 of the total is C SUV. Traditional hybrid growing, down at the bottom on the red line, and diesel in, again, steady decline as a C SUV, small to medium SUV if you will. Diesel is no longer the energy source of choice, obviously for a number of reasons, but petrol still very dominant. On the right-hand side is the drive type, so 4x4L with a low-range transfer case and all-wheel drive in the blue. We can see that 4x2 just touching nearly 90%, also really the choice for most consumers in that segment. I didn't bother graphing the transmission because 98% of C SUV is an automatic transmission of one type or another. Manuals, diesels, and any type of all-wheel drive 4x4 on the decline. Petrol, automatic, 4x2, really dominant in that segment. Continuing in C SUV, I want to talk about engine sizes very quickly. So these are the engine size progressions over the last 10 years. I've removed 2.6 liters and above because it's been non-existent since 2021, so there hasn't been a big engined C SUV since 2021. What we can see is the green area, which is 1.5 to 1.7, is in the ascendancy, so growing from 25 to 40% over the last period, 40% currently, year to date this year, and then 1.8 to 2.1 liters, about another 50% on top of that. So we see a downsizing trend. We've seen that over the last couple of years. We see that continue. Interesting to note, however, with that downsizing trend, with 40% at 1.7 or below, 60% above it, in other words, only 28% of the engines in the segment are 130 kilowatts or better. So 130 kilowatts or bigger, only 28% available as a choice in that particular segment. So that brings us nicely to the reason that we're here today. Of course, we want to introduce you to the GAC GS3 EMZOOM. I'm going to start that off by playing the global TV commercial. little bit about how EMZOOM fits into our product plan for the next 12 months. The GS3 EMZOOM, of course, today we're introducing it to the first time to the general public today. Later on this month, and I think that all of you have an invite for our brand launch and our MQ reveal. We'll reveal the larger SUV, the MQ. And then early next year, we have a new energy vehicle to introduce as well under the label. That's the plan for the next 12 months. So we have a couple of other cars currently under consideration in the GAC stable. I am certain that you've done at least a cursory level look at the GAC brand website. You'll see some of the vehicles that are available. Those vehicles are under consideration for us, whether they make sense in our market, whether we can make them work. So there's a lot of cars in the planning or in the consideration set, if you will. This is the next 12 months. But we want to talk EMZOOM particularly. And I want to give you a comparison set purely for size reference. This is not a competitive set for our car in particular, but as a completely new model onto the market, I thought it was very important to give you a sense of what kind of size the vehicle is. Of course, CSUV is a very broad definition. This is two graphs representing the length on the x-axis, so length down the bottom, and width on the left-hand side, height on the right-hand side. If we start on the left-hand side again, this is neither definitive nor complete. It's just to give you a sense of the size of the vehicle. Left-hand side is the length-wise. EMZOOM is 4,410 meters in length, with the addition of the R-style pack, which we'll be driving today. It goes up to 4,44 meters. That gives you an idea of the type of size that it is in terms of length, slightly longer than a Moto C5, slightly shorter, a couple of centimeters than a Qashqai in that size bracket. Width on the y-axis, so EMZOOM at 1850, 1,850 wide. Also, for comparison, that same competitor set on the right-hand side, in terms of height as well, EMZOOM at 1,6 meters high. Looking at size of the car. Once again, just for some frame of reference, seeing the cars lined up alongside each other doesn't always give you that. That's some of the cars, some of the ones you may be familiar with. So that's size-wise, 4,410 by 1.6 high, 1,850 wide. I want to talk EMZOOM on these three particular points: the design, the comfort and convenience, and some of the performance and technology. Starting off with the design, and you would have seen it, you would have walked past the cars this morning, you would have immediately noticed some striking differences perhaps from what you were expecting from some of the other cars on our road. I had some comments this morning already. EMZOOM was designed with a star diamond shadow concept, star diamond shadow philosophy. Lots of angles on the car, lots of sharp angles on the car, lots of sharp creases on the car. So that diamond shadow, you'll see some diamond-like surface or angles on the car, and you can see it immediately as you approach the car. If we start at the front, it starts with the Mecha wing grille. So the Mecha wing grille, which extends and integrates into the headlights across the entire front of the car, accentuating that 1,850 meters width. Also, looking at the headlights, split headlights. So we have the laser eye split LED headlamps, of course. Daytime running lights are housed at the top of the bumper, just underneath the bonnet. Our high and low beam are housed at the bottom of the bumper, integrated low and high beams. You can see them there on the right-hand side. Daytime running lights slightly higher for better visibility for approaching traffic. Main high beams and low beams slightly lower in the bonnet to provide you with clear illumination without distracting drivers in the approaching lane. Moving around to the side, once again looking at the diamond shadow, we can see the double waistline design with the two very distinctive creases near the bottom of the car, the double waistline as well as the floating roof. So lots of angularity on the car, really a striking design. Staying on the side, looking at the electric flush door handles. So across the entire range is the electric flush door handle. When locked, of course, flush. Relatively unobtrusive when open. Also with an anti-pinch function, so perfectly safe to have a hand present in the door when it closes. I've tried it. You can absolutely try it. If you lock the car, leave your hand there. An anti-pinch function. and as I mentioned, standard throughout the range. So moving around to the rear, looking at the dart style tail lamp, 66 LED bulbs on each side in the tail lamp. You see the tail lamp curved around the side of the car, allowing for better visibility from the rear and visibility from the side as well. So R-Style, as I briefly touched on, R-Style, as you would have seen today, lined up, ready to drive. R-Style adds a couple of additions to the vehicle, not just the length that I mentioned, but also has a sporty appearance. And it has the mid-mounted double exhaust pipes. And you have a button where you can adjust the sound as well. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail. So these are some of the additions to the R-Style. The mesh color grille on the right hand side there, you can see the colored inserts into the front grille. We have the trim on the lower front bumper. Also on the right hand side, one on the right hand side, and here we can see the orange trim on the front bumper. We have the mid-mounted double exhaust pumps as well. We'll talk about that in a moment, top right hand side. So there's our mid-mounted double exhaust pumps. And we have a button on the steering wheel on the R-Style exclusively to open an additional exhaust valve on the right-hand side vent. So when in sport mode, you can switch the valve. You can open the valve and close the valve, allowing for a slight change in your exhaust note. Definitely a more sporty change. Please give that a try as you experience the car today. So moving on to comfort and convenience, keyless entry, of course, standard across the entire range. We can see from the key fob, we have on executive and R-Style, mid and high spec, we have proximity unlock as well, so you only need to approach the vehicle for the vehicle to unlock, or move away from the vehicle for the vehicle to lock. Also on the R-Style, we have the electronic tailgate, so tailgate opening function on the key, as well as remote start for the vehicle on the key fob as well. Moving into the cabin, we have a 7-inch LCD instrument cluster on executive and R-Style, obviously in front of the driver. We'll talk about that in a moment. 10.25-inch HD touchscreen in the center console, of course, standard across the range. Wireless charging on the R-Style, and the crystal electronic gear shift standard across the range. Also echoing the diamond shadow style from the outside, very angular. Very tactile, nice to have in your hand. Leather covered steering wheel on executive and R-Style, of course incorporating some chrome elements. You'll see that a little later. You have multifunction steering wheel with obviously your volume controls, your cruise control, as well as various cluster views so that you can change the cluster view to represent the information that you want, whether it's multimedia, whether it's your tire pressures as shown on the screen. So on the screen currently in the center we have not just tire pressures but also the tire temperature, so important information. Then driving robustly, so we have tire pressure, tire temperature. We have our driver assistance settings as well, and as I mentioned, customizable so you can change the view to what's important to you. Moving on to the center screen, the 10.25-inch touchscreen in the center. We have some controls for the vehicle overall. So you can open all of the opening apertures from the center screen, your tailgate, your sunroof on the R-Style, and all of your windows. You can also set the aperture on the tailgate from the center touchscreen. You can change the ambient lighting, both intensity and color choices from the center touchscreen as well. And then of course we have the wireless CarPlay available on the EMZOOM. We also have an Android Auto option, or an Android phone option in Carbit Link. So Carbit Link is a bespoke app. It would need to be downloaded from the App Store. But you can connect your Android device through Carbit Link. What that will give you is complete screen mirroring, so you can mirror your screen completely and you can utilize any of the functionality on your phone on the touch screen as well through a wired connection. We also have an option which is fitted to the cars we're going to drive today, aftermarket option, which is an Android Auto box. So if you're like me and you're really comfortable with Android Auto, you can buy the aftermarket box available from us. About $1,500 gives you wireless Android Auto connectivity. So you have three options. You have the wireless CarPlay, you have the car BitLink, which completes screen mirroring, and we have the Android Auto, which is connected in the cars today. We also have wireless charging from on the center console on the R-Style version, which you'll be driving today. The LCD instrument cluster, as I mentioned, also reflects your various driving modes. So you have your Eco, Comfort, and Sport driving modes reflected in the center, the instrument panel as well. We'll talk about them in a moment. I've mentioned the crystal electronic gear shift, very tactile, reflecting the angularity of the outside of the vehicle, also quick and easy to use and attractive to look at. Interior of the car, if you do the sit behind yourself test today, you'll notice the rear passenger floor is completely flat. There's no ridges in it, allowing for a little bit of extra space. 5 passengers comfortably in the rear seat. In addition, 21 storage spaces in the car, from cup holders, cubby holes, etc., door pockets. 21 different storage spaces in the car. In the boot, so the trunk has a completely flat. You can the seats will fold down completely flat with the boot space. This also is an optional extra. It's an inflatable mattress. The size in the back from tailgate to seats is 1.8 meters. So it is, with the flat, relatively comfortable even for up to 1.8 meters. The panoramic sunroof on R-Style, available standard on R-Style only. You can see it is quite a large roof, 900 millimeters rather in length, 710 in width. It opens to 35 centimeters, and it is just short of 2/3 of a square meter in terms of sunroof area. So it really allows a lot of light, ambient light, into the cockpit if you so choose. I'm going to talk about performance and technology, and I'm going to just very quickly touch on the engine. The engine is a GAC engine, GAC motor bespoke for the vehicle. A 1.5 litre turbo petrol, the third generation of the 1.5 litre turbo petrol, developing 130 kilowatts, 270 newton meters of torque, with a WLTC fuel consumption cycle at 6.18 litres per 100 k's. You will know that WLTC is a more stringent test than any DC, so a good return on fuel consumption. That power is generated through some of the changes, some of the innovations on the right-hand side, of course using the millicycle to improve the efficiency inside the piston, 350 bar high pressure fuel injection, allowing for a thermal efficiency of 40.48%. It really does put the sport back in sports utility vehicle. In addition, it has a water-cooled intercooler, so the intercooler is water-cooled, and I encourage you to pop the bonnet and take a look at the setup with the water-cooled intercooler with its independent overflow tank. A water-cooled intercooler, of course, allows for a far more efficient use of the turbo. You can see 33% improvement in your torque response compared to a traditional air-cooled intercooler. In addition, the turbocharger is 2-passage. So one of the first things you'll notice on the car is that this response in the power is almost instantaneous. There's very little lag involved in that turbo through the various innovations highlighted. What that all comes down to is a 0 to 100 time of 8 seconds. Once again, I think putting sport into sport utility vehicles. So it's not a number or a metric that we traditionally talk about too much in SUVs, but I think it's nice to have. It's nice to see the coupling of the engine and the drivetrain and the chassis producing that kind of result. So the gearbox mated to the engine, of course, is a 7-speed wet dual clutch gearbox. A wet dual clutch, you will know, has the advantage, of course, of maintaining a lower temperature. The lower temperature gearbox is a more efficient gearbox. You can see the shift times as low as 0.2 of a second. You can see you feel certainly the ride comfort today when you experience that 7-speed box. And you can see some of the testing highlighting one of GAC's commitments mentioned in the video to quality, durability and reliability. So these are the 3 modes I mentioned. eco mode, comfort mode, and sport mode. Of course, they have impact on the three characteristics, or the two characteristics up in the top right-hand side. Of course, eco, as one would expect, would have energy savings, so slightly lower throttle response in eco. In steering, it has a lighter steering, easier drive, if you will. Sport mode accentuates the power, the steering becomes a little tighter. Of course, ESP is active in all three modes, so all selectable from the center touchscreen. In addition, from mid-spec, mid-trim, executive to R-style or top spec, we have 10 L2 autonomous driving attributes, characteristics. You'll see them down the right-hand side. Of course, your forward collision warning, automatic emergency brake, adaptive cruise control, integrated cruise assist with the traffic sign recognition, which will adjust your cruise speed to the latest traffic speed signs, your lane departure warning, lane keep assist, traffic jam assist, and high beam assist on the R-style. So excellent passive safety as well. And just yesterday, the EMZOOM received the ASEAN NCAP 5-star rating. So up to 6 airbags with obviously driver, front passenger, side curtains, as well as front side airbags. The curtain airbags have a 6-second pressure holding function, so the monolithic curtain airbags down the side hold the pressure for 6 seconds. We talk about the range, so our EMZOOM range starts with a GS3 EMZOOM Comfort. EMZOOM Comfort, of course, as the entire range does, has the engine and drivetrain we've discussed, 130 kilowatts, 1.5 petrol, with the 7-speed dual clutch setup. It does, of course, have a range of standard features, as you would expect. Of course, your electronic door handles, your automatic air conditioning. We have the 10.5-inch multifunction touchscreen, cruise control, keyless entry, rear parking sensors, and camera. Mid-spec GS3 EMZOOM Executive has the addition of the leather interior, the 7-inch LCD instrument cluster, and it has the L2 autonomous driving attributes as well, your adaptive cruise control, lane departure, etc., as listed on the screen. R-Style, top of the range, which we'll be driving today, has a couple of additions. It has the addition, of course, of the sunroof. It has the wireless charger. It has the electric tailgate. We have the 6-way driver adjustable seat, electrically adjustable seat, interior ambient light, and of course the R-Style sports package, the all-important R-Style sports package, including the trim items as well as the rear diffuser and the center mounted exhaust pipes. EMZOOM's available in 4 colors: Star Silver, Starlight Blue, Ivory White, Moon Grey, all colors available here today for you to see. And pricing on the GS3 EMZOOM starts at $469,900 for the Comfort, $499,900 for the Executive. Remember, that's with the extra that I mentioned, the L2 autonomous driving, the full leather interior, and then R-Style with the complete sports package, the sunroof, the diffuser, centrally mounted exhaust pipe at $549,900. Entire range as well, standard with a 5-year 150 warranty, standard with a 5-year 60,000 kilometer service plan. So that concludes the presentation. I need to mention one thing before we do the driver brief. We'll take Q&As in a moment. When you drive the car, GAC, as you know, Kaitono, as you know, relatively new. We've had a couple of new appointments. So when we initially ordered the cars, and I say we very graciously because I wasn't involved in the process, we didn't order it with rear luggage covers. So the cars you're driving today don't have rear luggage covers. That situation has since been rectified. When you get them on test, they will have luggage covers. Just bear in mind when you drive the cars today. Okay? I'll open the question floor for some questions. Sorry. I'll come back to you in a second. 2. So, no, you can't. R-Style, first of all, R-Style is the orange bits, unfortunately. That's the way it's designed. And I guess you could approach your dealer and he could do some changes for you. Remember the orange bits as well, and if you look at the cars today, the orange bits are a little more subtle and a little less subtle on some of the colors. So the blue, for example, has more orange bits. White, grey, and silver have less orange bits. You would need to do it aftermarket. You can't have, what you're asking, I think, is can you have a sunroof with an executive? No, you can't. It's hostile. First question, the competitor set. So I think we've got a fairly unique offering in terms of CSUV, in terms of the size that it has. Of course, some of those cars will naturally be some of the competitors, and there will be some natural competitors which consumers will draw. We're looking more for a type of customer than a competitor set specifically. So type of customer would be younger family, somebody who's looking for that versatility of an SUV with some additional space, with some raised ride height, but isn't prepared to compromise on things like technology, things like drive and performance. So somebody moving up perhaps from a hatch, somebody who's starting to grow a family, rather than looking at competitor set, I'm looking at a customer type. Sorry, Colin. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry,
What is your part stop holding and where does the part stop and what will you immediately grade?
Thanks, Chris. So we've ordered, I'll give you a value because I think that makes sense. It's about 50 milligrams worth of parts. 1.5, which is about 6 months worth of stock for fast-moving parts. We will have a central warehouse distribution daily. So in fact, if you order before lunchtime, you get it the same day if you take, or the next day if you outside Joburg. Now our targeted first pick rate is around 95%. But as you know, it's going to be a few months before we get any cars coming back for service. So we've got good stock now. Time will tell what our first pick rate actually is. But we're confident that we've got enough parts and enough of the right parts to be able to service the customer needs at the beginning. And if for whatever case we don't, it's a matter of life over a couple of days, and we'll offer a little distribution to the customers.
Sorry, Brendan, I'll come back to you if you don't want. Brendan. Are you Brendan? Sorry, I was talking to Brendan.
Oh, Brent. Yeah, so I'm sure the name EMZOOM could mean something pretty epic in Mandarin before it's translated over. But was there ever any discussion on a naming convention for our market specifically? Because those names don't mean much.
Yeah.
In fact, EMZOOM makes me think of NASDAQ. That's what I was thinking.
There wasn't any discussion on the naming convention. It's a global model with the naming convention. I understand the connotations. I understand some of the local historical connotations. I think that the car is strong enough to be able to hold its own reputation as an EMZOOM. It is relatively catchy, I think. Subjectively, if you will allow me, I think that it has some embodiment of that kind of wording. And when you drive the car, maybe we'll agree, we could have a conversation. But no, to answer your question, there wasn't. It's a global model. Brendan, I'll come back to your right samples.
Sorry, Brian, did you say the launch is by the end of the year?
Yes. Mr. Stanley.
You guys are in a somewhat unique position. Starting a new brand is probably not always the easiest thing. On the parts pick and the first part pick ratio, are you able to look at international trends by saying, in terms of repair parts or body panel parts, these are quite popular and those have been part of your mix? So you haven't just ordered service parts. You guys know historically the water pump can go wonky or whatever it is. You'll have the starter, they'll have it in China. So you've got 3,000 water pumps on order. Or is that not part of it on these baby steps straight out of it?
No, it's exactly what you said, and we've kind of done it the two-pronged approach. One is Salvador Cartano Group. We sold 150,000 cars last year.
Okay.
Been operating since 1946.
Okay.
So we've got some good data, global data in terms of parts consumption. So we used that data set Then we also use the data set from GAC. I mean, the model is fairly new, so it doesn't have a history of data, but we've used the GAC data set, and then we also added some specific conditions for South Africa. I mean, we go through windscreens faster, I think, than any other country in the world. We go through rims faster than any other country in the world. So we used all of that, kind of data sets, and then decided what to order. But I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you, you never get it 100% right. There's always something.
But you've at least looked at something and prepared yourself. You haven't just gone, well, we've got some service parts and we'll see where the chips fall.
I mean, the main ones are service parts and crash parts.
Yeah.
Generally, that's what you need in South Africa. And those are stuff that you need to have on hand. And for whatever reason, we don't have a part. Like I said, we fly it in and we don't need it.
And luggage covers.
I was employee number 1, so I'm guilty of not ordering with luggage covers.
But maybe you just didn't know it didn't have a luggage cover.
Some things you take for granted.
Okay? Good. Obviously, Leslie, myself, we had a whole day. Carol here the whole day. Happy to answer any questions if you come up with something. Please enjoy the trial. It's absolutely not rushed. Then we're going to hand you over to Mr. Becky. Becky?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome again from our side. As you saw, all the vehicles are ready for you guys to rock and roll. The route is very easy, nice and long, especially some great straight lines. But time is yours. We've set the route up to be about 2 hours long, and we had a lot of requests from a lot of the media asking for opportunity to be able to shoot content while they're on the road, etc. So we created this opportunity so you can either shoot on the road, you can come back here, you've got the venue, you've got the facilities to be able to do whatever you need to do. On the route itself, there is one section by headquarters, of course, there's a little bit of potholes there, but otherwise this car has really done very well on the route. Please enjoy it. Any questions, our details on the route schedule. Vicky has shared the route guide as well, utilized through Apple CarPlay or through the Android Auto system. If you have any issues, get in touch with us and we'll sort it out. Sometimes the signal is just a little bit wonky or bad over here. But otherwise, start the route. Just please remember, once you get to a specific part, if you utilize the CarPlay or WhatsApp Google Maps route, just remember, once you get to a stop point, just remember to say OK so we can go to the next stop point. And there's a driver change for everybody. Otherwise, we'll see you back here for lunch. Thank you very much. Enjoy the drive. We'll see you at the top.